In this lesson, we're going to build the rear of our car. Alright, so to get started, let's go ahead and finish out blocking this area in, getting all those polygons started. And then I think it would be easy to go ahead and start across the trunk, kind of building that geometry and then blocking that in and starting out here at the top. And then we'll move on down to the bottom from there. So to make this really easy on us, let's go to Edge Mode and let's remove these edges by hitting Control Backspace right in between that. The reason I want to do that is because it makes it easier to move polygons around. And as you can see here, I also have lots of polygons coming down the side here. So I'm also going to double click on this edge, Control Backspace, and then I'll select this one and simply bridge it with a single polygon. Let's do the same thing here. So we've got that in. Let's start to move some of these vertices around. Let's make sure the edge constraint is turned off for the moment. Okay, so it should look something kind of like that. And then we'll take this edge. Actually, we'll take this edge and this edge. Hold Shift and drag that down. Go to Vertex Mode, pull that down to here. I'm going to pull that straight down, and then I'm going to go to my perspective view. Let's take this vertex right here and target weld it to here. Then in our top view, with both of these vertices selected, so you can see that, let's pull those across. And we want to pull it until that vertex matches right there against that trunk. So it should look something kind of like this. We can go ahead and we can start to build in the rest of this, but I'm not going to do that just yet. Let's go ahead and go to our top view, and I'm going to go to Edge Mode, and I'm going to take this edge right here, I'm going to hold Shift, I'm going to drag it out. Okay, go to Vertex Mode, just kind of pull those around, and just continue to pull out those points. Okay, drag it out here to about the center. Let's actually hit 0 on our X value. And then I'm also going to make planar in the Z so that way it's straight up and down. Let's type in 0 again on that. Okay, there we go. Let's pull this around. You might hit Alt X so you can see your edges, so that way it's matching up. Okay, and again, we're looking at the blue line, not the white line on that. Okay, so we've blocked that in. Let's go to our left view. Let's make sure that everything matches up here. As you can see, it doesn't pull up all the way. Let's go ahead and go to Edge Mode, select the first one, and then pull that up until that matches. You can see that the line stays parallel there pretty well, so we'll just go to the next one. We'll pull that up. Okay, and then the next one, we'll pull that up. And I'm basically pulling it up until the top of the line meets there, because that's what we've matched up to already in our reference image. So all this is looking good. Let's go to our top view. Let's grab this edge here, hold Shift, drag that back. Let's go all the way out to just underneath the edge of the spoiler, because if we go to our left view here, you can see that the end of the trunk doesn't come out to the edge of the spoiler, which is here. So let's drag this straight down, and then we're going to pull it back to here. Okay. Now looking at this, we need to add the curvature along the top of the trunk. As you can see, it kind of slopes down. So go to Edge Mode, select those two edges, and connect. And let's just do a single edge right now, and we're going to pull that down. Okay. So it should look something like this. Then in our top view, what we want to do is we want to go ahead and continue to block this out. So let's select this edge, go to our left view, hold Shift, drag that down to this point here, and then go to your back view, hit V and then K. And as you can see here, we can get really confused with how many edges that we can see. We can actually see all the back sides of the polygons of everything that's in the front of the car, and we really can't see what we're doing here on the back. So to get around this, let's go ahead and right click, go to Object Properties, and turn on Back Face Cull. Hitting OK on that, it's only going to show us the edges that we can see the normal side of the face. okay, of the polygons. So now let's take this edge, let's make it planar in the Y direction, and then pull it down. Whoops, let's try it one more time. Pull it down in the Y to this point right here. So then in our left view, you can see that that is matching up there. All right, perfect. Let's go back to the back view, hit V and then K. I need to create a segment that comes right across the top of this and then into this. So let's go to Edit, Swift Loop. Let's add a segment right about here. Then that will allow me to take this edge, hold Shift, drag that across, and it will allow me to create that edge that I need there. Alright, so let's take this vertex here, pull that down a little bit, and then this edge we're going to go to our left view and we're going to pull that across until that meets right here. Go to the back view again, hold Shift, drag that across until it meets the seam of our trunk. Take that vertex and pull that down. Pull this one down as well. And then with that entire edge, let's go to the left view again and pull that right here to this point. That's where that seam is here. All right, now hold Shift, drag that out to the left, and we're going to pull this out to this point right at the edge of that tail light. And if we go to the back view, hitting V and then K, we can pull that to the right until it meets the corner of that tail light there. Grab your vertex mode, take that vertex and push it back until it meets that seam there. Now let's go back to our left view, and what we'll do at this point is we're going to go ahead and bridge this all the way across to here. But you'll notice that one of our vertices is not matching at this point. We could go ahead and take these vertices and we can move those down. It's really not that far for it to go, but we need to make sure that we are making our adjustments as we move this across. So I want to pull this down a little bit, just kind of relax that, and then we'll need to maybe add another segment in here to help close that gap a little bit more. But I think we'll be okay at this point. So let's go to edge mode, select that edge and this one, and we'll bridge that. Okay, so that's going to create the seam that we need to block in that trunk area. So now we've created something that's very nice and round. It fits and everything's looking good so far. Now we need to figure out what to do with the rest of this topology. For the trunk, I'm going to take this edge right here and I'm going to hold Shift and I'm going to drag that out. And I'm going to continue to do that all the way around until I meet back at this area. So our trunk is going to have kind of this looping shape to it. Okay, just for right now. Now you'll see here that I'm missing an edge to bridge this to. So let's go to Edit, Swift Loop. I'm going to add this edge here. Then I'm going to take these two edges and bridge that. Now all I have to do is simply go edge to edge and bridge to close this area in. Okay. Come in with your vertex mode, and you may do a little bit of movement on some of these seams here. Let's make sure that we're using our edge constraint for right now to move these points, because they were on the seam pretty well already. Okay, so I'm just kind of bringing that out. Alright, so that looks good. It's all going together pretty well. And I'm going to actually thin this up a little bit. And then go to your left view. Make sure that you are still following along with the contour of that trunk. So let's turn off our edge constraints. I'm going to pull that up. Actually, let's do this. Let's pull it straight up. Okay, making sure that these lines right here are nice and straight. This needs to come down just a bit. Okay, nice straight line there. And there we go. So that's coming out really nicely. Let's go to edge mode, select this edge and that one, bridge, this one and that one, and we'll bridge that here to here, and bridge, and then finally we've got this little hole here that we need to take care of. Now we have a couple of issues with this right now. The problem that we have is we have several polygons here that are coming from the body of the car, but they need to go into the trunk area. And so in order to get this right, we need to make sure that we're adding enough segments in all of this. Okay. So let's go ahead and add a couple of segments right here across the middle of this, and I really need 2 for this to work properly. So we'll add that there. Okay. And then we need to connect all of this together. To make this easy really quickly, I'm going to take this edge and hit Control Backspace to get rid of that, and I'm just going to bridge from this edge to this edge, here to here, and then here, back. Okay, so now that's all been closed in there. So now that it's been closed in, we've got enough geometry for it. Okay, it's got that nice smooth look to it, but the only problem that we have with this is that we've now lost some of the seams in the trunk. So as you can see, all of this is looping around, and that's totally fine. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just that now we need this seam that goes right across the back, and it actually cuts into that. So we could begin to modify it a little bit. We could take these vertices, we could move those across, and then I need to actually target weld this point to here. Now this is really going to throw everything else off at this point. So what I'll do is I'll actually take this segment and hit Control Backspace. Get rid of that. We now have our seam in place, which is good. Okay, let me kind of show you what that looks like here. We have our seam, okay, which is coming into the right place, even in the back view. Okay, right there. But we've lost some of that detail here. That's easy to get. We'll just simply add another loop right back here to the middle, and then grab these vertices and just pull those back until they match our reference image. So now we've gotten all of that back, and very quickly, very neatly, let's go ahead and go to our back view really quickly. We've gotten everything that we need. So let's turn off vertex mode. And edge mode. Let's turn off X-ray, hitting Alt-X, and take a look there. So we've got our trunk filled in. We've got a little bit of waviness here and there, and I think that that's just from some vertices that we've placed that don't really have a place to go any longer. Like right here, we have a triangle. Okay, we need to take care of that. We need to figure out how we're going to get that to terminate without being a triangle. That's not really that big of a deal. It's actually pretty easy to take care of. If we just go to Edit and Swift Loop, we can add the loop here, and then take that vertex right here and just move that across, just like that. So as you can see, that loops across that way. But the problem with that is that we lose that seam. Okay, so we need to make sure that that stays there. Let's see, I really don't like the way that terminates there. So let's hit Control Backspace, let's remove it. We'll leave it as a triangle for right now, because whenever we split that apart, we can get rid of that from the body. It won't be that big of an issue. Alright, so in the next lesson, we're going to continue on working on the rear end. We need to fill out the bumper and start getting all of that blocked in. So we'll do that in our next lesson.